2022 has already proven to be Cardano's biggest year yet. We've seen improvements to Cardano's overall blockchain, improving efficiency and governance, to dApps finally launching on the platform, and recently we had some new data that came out, which is going to quiet a lot of concerns that analysts have had about Cardano over the last few years. So here's where we stand. Before we get into the updates about Cardano, it's important to take a look at what is going on with the overall crypto market. Right now, the overall market has been very volatile over the last couple of weeks. Recently, we had CPI data come out, which really caused the market into a bit of a scare, but the good news right now is Bitcoin's price is still hovering above its 50-day simple moving average, which is historically a very bullish sign. We like to see Bitcoin stay above this 50-day simple moving average over the coming months, as it would signal we are continuing a rally to new record highs. In addition to this, though, we're seeing with Bitcoin that whales have been accumulating more and more Bitcoin ever since Bitcoin's price was at $32,000 per coin. This has been when they have finally started to add more to their positions, and right now we are seeing record-breaking numbers for whale addresses. If you look at BTC supply in addresses with balance greater than 1,000 Bitcoin, you can see that we have officially passed 8 million wallet addresses. This is a very, very big deal. Last thing that we're seeing with Bitcoin before we get into Cardano is going to be what has been going on with Cardano with Bitcoin in terms of a couple of other technical indicators. So we talked about the 50-day simple moving average. We talked about Bitcoin whales, which have been continuing to accumulate. But one last thing which is just about to happen is that Bitcoin's 100-day EMA on the 4-hour charts is about to cross above its 200-day EMA. And this is very important historically. This is just a bullish sign, another crossover to take place where short term we're seeing a lot of upwards movements, and this could signal that we're in for a longer rally. So overall market looks very good, and this is important for Cardano or any altcoin for that matter, because if Bitcoin and the overall crypto market is not looking good, it doesn't matter how optimistic, how bullish the news is for Cardano or any project. We need to see the overall market continue to maintain this rally, continue to be bullish in order for us to see positive movements, let's say for Cardano. But just putting that aside, we have seen a lot of optimism for Cardano over the last couple of days. We've seen new data come out for Cardano, which is extremely bullish. Recently, I posted on Twitter about Cardano's technicals, what's going on with blockchain analytics. So make sure to follow me on Twitter if you don't already. I post there multiple times a day, but Cardano has been looking much more bullish as of lately because of three main things. First is that recently we saw Cardano surpass $100 million in TVL. $100 million in TVL. And if you look at DeFi Llama, you could see that right now Cardano has $101.7 million in total value locked. This helps to compare overall layer 1 ecosystems. You could look right now and look at other chains like Ethereum or Terra Luna or Binance. You could see that these have tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars in TVL, but Cardano just recently launched smart contracts in late 2021, so seeing that it's already now at $101 million in total value locked, that is a big sign. But the important thing here is not the overall dollar amount, but the rate at which we have seen it increase. If you look at the charts, just about 2 to 3 weeks ago, Cardano had $3.2 million in total value locked. Since that time, we have gone from $3 million to $101 million in less than 30 days. So if this is the rate we continue to see Cardano's growth in its overall ecosystem, this would be a very, very bullish sign for Cardano's price and be the catalyst that we need to propel it to new record highs, because everyone is always talking about Cardano, saying how it's great, there's a lot of hype, the strong community, but there's no actual development, and this shows us right here that the development is finally starting to take off as we are seeing more money in total value locked. Second thing is going to be that we just saw 30 million transactions. That 30 million transactions number officially reached on Cardano's blockchain. This is important. So when we look at the on-chain analytics, we can see that Cardano just recently passed this 30 million transaction number. And this is the total number of transactions that have taken place. But this has been a huge milestone as we've continued to see growth consistently over time and how many people and how many transactions are on Cardano's ecosystem. You can see that the transactions / payments per day has been increasing as well over time as we've been seeing more and more dApps launch on Cardano. That is that middle chart right here. But really right now, that has been what's going on with total total transactions. And the third thing that recently happened is that Cardano has seen 200,000 daily active addresses. When we look at the data right here, you could see that we spiked almost up to 300,000 daily active addresses on right around the end of January, probably right around the time where Sunday Swap had its launch. But now we have seen a consistent amount of growth over the last 90 days, and we've started to level off right around that 150 to 200,000 daily active addresses on Cardano. And this just goes to show that we're actually seeing more and more people consistently using Cardano, which is very important. We need to see more and more people use the actual blockchain. Last two things in terms of data, which have also been very bullish, is going to be delegated wallets and total number of ADA wallets. Right now, we can see that the total number of ADA wallets has surpassed 3 million total ADA wallets, which is a huge milestone we've talked about in previous videos. And this has been continuing to increase consistently over time, again showing us that more and more people are using it. Last thing I want to talk about is going to be with its blockchain. So we talked about on-chain analytics, we talked about the data, but last thing is going to be upgrades to the actual ecosystem. And what we have seen is that as of recently, Cardano's team, IOHK, the development team behind Cardano, has made a couple of big changes to Cardano's blockchain to help with all of these scaling requirements that we need now that Cardano is finally getting used more. And right now, IOHK came out on Twitter, and we talked about this the other day, but they increased Cardano's block size from 72 KB to 80 KB. And this is important because block size refers to the maximum data capacity a single block can have on a blockchain. And the larger the block size, the more transactions that can be added to each block, basically making it more scalable, more efficient. That's the first upgrade. And the second upgrade they just recently made was also they increased the number of script memory units from 12.5 million to 14 million, and expanding these memory units helps it process more data every single transaction. So both of these things help Cardano become more efficient, helps it become more scalable, and this is exactly what we need as we continue to see Cardano's TVL increase. So now let's talk about the charts, because when we look at the charts, Cardano has not really reflected all of this positive movement and positive news as of lately. This has been a lot because of the volatility in the overall market, but with this optimistic news, these bullish numbers, now I think we could be gearing up for a big breakout. There's two things we need to look at. Right now, we have that $1.20 per coin resistance, which has been a very strong resistance over the last couple of weeks for Cardano. This has acted as a strong level really over the last year, but right now it's acting as a resistance. I have a black box right here. In order for us to see a rally for Cardano, we need to see it break above that. But the important thing is this isn't just that $1.20 per coin resistance, but it's almost a double resistance, because what we see is that $1.20 per coin line, but also the 50-day EMA, the 50-day simple moving average, excuse me. And what we see is that right now, the 50-day simple moving average is right around that $1.20 per coin as well. So it's going to be very hard for Cardano's price to break above this. We've seen it test a couple of times, but once we see a break above this $1.20 per coin line and the 50-day moving average, that is a very, very bullish sign for Cardano, as we have not seen it cross above this 50-day moving average for a while and be able to maintain it. Yes, we crossed a little bit in January. We tried to break out, but we had failed. So moving forward, it's going to be very important that we see a break above that 50-day moving average and also that $1.20 per coin line. If we see that happen, I'm expecting Cardano's price to easily rally back up to $1.50 per coin and potentially even back up to new record highs as we continue to see more growth on its ecosystem. So that's what's going on right now with Cardano. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.